What are you doing, Lama?
I am making the medicine for the Sangha that the Buddhist doctor makes for the Sangha, because this is the time of the season change from the hot season to the cold season, and the body doesn't know quite how to take it, and so this is the type of food or medicine by food that helps the body rotate. So I'm teaching this that I received from my teachers, and I'm going to teach how to make it. So first of all, we start out with, normally I make this for a lot of people, so we start out with a big amount of water, and we need ginger, lots of it, lots of ginger. I'm showing you this recipe because many students have asked me how to do this, and they like to know how to do it on their own, and I thought, why not benefit a lot of people who can learn how to do it, and that's the reason. So this is the ginger, you know how it comes, and you can break off so that the pieces are like small. And then now if you come in here and just come right up on this, you can see the ginger's in here, and you need a nice heavy mortar, and you really have to pound it into a, you're not making like a paste, like I'm not grinding it, I'm just hammering it down so that the juice comes out, and also so that and I leave the skin on because the skin has also some good things in it, and then it's just flat if there's not any more kind of volume to it. And then you have to bring the water to the boil. Now we have to cook the ginger first. Now normally people use ginger, they just like slice it up and boil it or whatever, but in this case we have to I don't know what the right word is, but we have to do a process on it. We're going to burn it, pretty much burn it, or shock it with a very high heat. And so we need an iron skillet is best for this. One of those black American iron skillets, but we have here an iron wok on a very high heat, as you see, and it's a red hot. And we're going to get our thing going, and we start to put it in like this. Try to use a wooden utensil better than metal. Although the pot itself is iron, the black iron skillets have a different thing they add to the food. And so I'm gonna try to get it laying down like so. And it will start to sizzle a little bit. There's no oil or anything like that in this. No oil. Oil changes the whole nature of the thing. When the oil goes in there, then it takes that oil-soluble part of it. And when you put in, when you burn it like this, it makes it, again, very yang, but it neutralizes some of the acrid or caustic part of the ginger, which is hard for people to digest. So the heating becomes rounded because you're hitting fire with fire kind of thing. So you have a very hot ginger, it's very spicy, but then when you punch it like this with the hot heat, you kind of punch it into shape. So part of the digestion, now you see when I turn it? See when I turn it, it's getting a little black. See the black there? So I'm burning it. Now I'm not going to burn it the whole thing so it's unrecognizable, but I do have to teach it a lesson. I do have to tell it to mellow out a little bit, and also add yang energy to it by this process. And the burning, the charcoal adds a little bit of yang energy. So this is actually going to be quite a warming dish. Okay, so now you see, watch this. So see, it's black, right? Blackened here and there. And it's kind of sticking to the pan. And now this is kind of ready, and this is going to go right into the water we have started, right like that. It smells delicious. It smells kind of burning ginger smell. And I have to finish the rest of this process. Here's the last round of ginger that I'm burning here. It's even starting to ignite. Funny. Okay, so I'm going to burn that, and this is cooking here. You see, it's quite a lot of big pieces of ginger, and that's one of the joys of it when you're eating it. Okay. Right. So then we take it and put it in here. Yeah. And that's the start of the process. You can turn off our... Oh, you can keep that heat on actually. And what I'm going to do is to shift this over to that red hot burner over here. Okay, so now you'll need to know some of the other ingredients that go in here, and you know what mung beans are, mung, and these are a green bean. And now, as far as the quantity goes, you'll see this quantity here. It's several quarts. It's maybe a gallon and a half or something of water. How much mung is a little tricky. Normally I put in half a bag. It depends how thick you want it, and you can play with that. You know, you're cooking for a lot of people, but in this case, the way I'm making it. But you don't want to make it too thick or too much beans either. You need the liquid. And then we need, actually in this case we have coconut palm sugar. It's called palm sugar. Normally it comes in this Asian store in chunks, and that's the better one. This is kind of a freeze-dried organic thing, but it will do the trick. It's a red palm sugar, and we're going to put quite a bit in there. I don't suggest using white sugar for this at all. It changes the taste, and I would not substitute. I wouldn't bother if it's not there. Now you can or cannot. This is not necessary part, but I put in some clove into this for my own reasons, and nutmeg to seal the nerve with this. This is also heating actually. But you really don't need to add those spices. It could be confusing for some people. Sometimes it's just nice to leave it with the purity of the ginger taste. So this is the coconut milk. Now you can use this or cannot use it. Actually, coconut is a cooling element. I like to use it because of the fat involved, and the type of fat that it is easy to process and adds a little bit of a caloric slow burn to a starch, which is a fast burn. So that's the reason we put the coconut. And but you don't have to have it. It makes it rich, and so it depends on how savory you want it. And this is actually a sweet dish. It's kind of a sweet salty dish. I don't put salt in it, but there's some naturally existing salt, a little bit salty tasting, electrolytes or whatever in here. Okay. Now you can see it's boiling. It's not at a mad boil, so it's at whatever that is. It's not totally high, but it's at a meaningful boil here. And it's going to boil a long time. I like to let it boil for hours. So, and make sure you stir it. And this is a little high flame for the continuous boil, you know. We bring it down and let it boil for quite a while. I tend to cover it when I boil it. So now you can see it's been boiling it's a pretty powerful boil. It doesn't need to be like this high. Actually, it should be a little lower, but it's been boiling for a while, and the mung beans come to the top, and you have to mush them a little bit, and slowly, if it was too thick, see how it's a thick one, but not too thick. If it was too thick for you, you could add some water and some more sugar, palm sugar. The ginger is going to carry over no matter what. Enough. See the big chunks of ginger in it, see? And now, we could leave it like this, which is actually a drink closer to something called bamjek in Indonesian, and that is already good just like it is. It's kind of a liquid, even without the mung beans, for example. But we can also add to this coconut, and I'm going to take half of this and add coconut and half of it just like it is, because some people prefer it without it. So that's how I'm going to do it. So you see here, I've taken out some portion of this and put it separately, because you can also freeze this, by the way. I like not to do that, but I took some out for some people who like it plain. And now I'm going to take this portion, which is the big portion, and I'm going to add the coconut milk. There are two ways you can do this. If you want this to be much thicker than it is, then you put this in the fridge and let for a day or so before you do this, and you let the coconut cream come to the top, and you only use the cream oily part. But for me, I figure we just use the whole thing, because the consistency is where I want it, and this will pretty much make it the same. And this much I'm going to use about 2 cans of the coconut. That's 1, and that's 2. And then you stir it up, and now we really don't want to cook it too much. You can leave it on a slow flame, but don't really try to bring the temperature way up high, since it now has the nutritional part of the coconut. And just let it do its thing for a while at a very low. You can just keep it on a low. It's pretty much ready, although you do want the coconut to get cooked for a while, so you do leave it on a low flame. Maybe we're going to leave it another 15-20 minutes, and let's just see how that tastes for fun. Pretty good. It's got the nice chunks of ginger in it. And then you can sweeten it to taste from there. If it's not sweet enough, just add a little more. Yeah.